Akira was a trash background character until one day he and his classmates got summoned to another world as demon cleanup crews, but he secretly awakens an overpowered assassin class ready to clap the Demon King. The story begins with two assassins crossing paths when they are on the verge of terminating the same target. The assassin dressed like a ninja spots his counterpart, who is our MC, on the rooftop, and fear grips him as if he saw a Halloween costume in the dark. Instead of allowing his fear to overcome him, the brave assassin decides to fight our MC for who is going to earn the right to terminate their target. While putting all his effort into the battle, our MC flexes on him like a pro gamer trolling a newbie in Call of Duty.
This is business!
After using all of the tricks in his book, every bone in his body was broken by our MC. He finally gives up and closes his eyes to wait for death to come to him. After taking care of the assassin, our MC moves over to his target and raises his sword to terminate him while he sleeps. Before he can, the scene transitions to his backstory. Our MC, Akira, was in class, reading isekai web novels on his phone, minding his business, like the regular background dude he is, when something insane happens. A magic circle suddenly opens in the middle of the class, scaring the students. While others are panicking, Akira remains seated, wondering what the magic circle is. Eventually, the magic circle does its job, and Akira and his classmates find them in an entirely different room, with strange faces staring at them like they are party clowns. While they are murmuring and wondering what just happened, an old priest tells them to shut their trap holes and listen to the king's address. The mic is passed to the king, who welcomes the students as heroes to the kingdom of Redis, which is basically the largest nation on the continent. The king mentions that they are under attack from demons and only heroes from another world have the power to defeat the Demon King and his minions. Akira hears this and silently celebrates because he has found himself in his favorite trope. After the king's address, the priest steps up to explain things further. He tells them that the next big thing is to identify the single hero among the bunch. There is a crystal ball in front of them, and the old man tells them to touch it one after the other. One by one, they start coming forward to touch the crystal ball to know which class they fall under. In addition, the old man lets them know that they can see their stats themselves just by saying status. The students follow the priest's instructions, and Akira realizes that he falls under the assassin class. While the dude beside him is yapping like a parrot, Akira is busy wondering why there is so much disparity in his stats and the ones he has seen so far. Finally, the student council president, Sato, walks up to touch the crystal ball, and he turns out to be the hero, with some pretty decent stats. While everyone is excited, Akira is super worried because his stats are ridiculously high and even higher than those of the hero. Akira also notices that something seems off with the rulers, and since he doesn't know the way of this new world just yet, he starts thinking of a way to escape the situation. When Akira realizes that it is almost his turn to touch the crystal ball, he tries out the skill, Conceal Presence, which is on his screen. Fortunately for him, the skill helps him become invisible to everyone, including the talking crow beside him. After they are done checking their stats, the students are led away. Akira follows the students from behind, and as he walks through the walkway, he notices that there is a camera installed on the ceiling. This further proves his point that something is not right, and they are not being told the full truth. Unknown to him, a rather special knight, Sarin, can see him even in his concealed state. After searching through the castle, Akira finds an abandoned room and decides to become Batman by turning the room into his hideout. Since he is an assassin, he decides to dress like one before stepping outside to get information. Akira is blown away by absurd things he can do, like jump high and climb walls like a cat. Akira then returns to his invisible mode before entering the king's chambers to listen in on his conversation. The king is busy writing, totally unaware of the danger lurking behind him. Akira has the perfect chance to unalive the king, but he holds back from allowing his intrusive thoughts to win. The next day, Akira is frustrated with the idea that his classmates believe that the king and the top people are their allies. After they are done eating breakfast, the students report to the training ground where they meet Sarin, who introduces himself as the Knight Commander. Also with him is a four-eyed dude, who happens to be his vice, Jills. Akira doesn't want to get involved in whatever boring trash they have going on, and he walks away. Sarin notices this, and he follows him, leaving Jills in charge. Akira is standing by the fountain when Sarin approaches him with a clear indication that he can see him. Akira is shocked, wondering if he had disabled his concealment status. However, Sarin assures him that his skill is still active, but he is just a chill dude with special eyes, which is why he can see Akira. Akira reaches for his sword, but Sarin quickly tells him that he has no intentions of exposing him. This leaves Akira puzzled since Sarin should be on the king's side. Akira finally agrees to sit down with the dude, and he tells him about his plan to see the archives because he wants to know more about this new world he has found himself in. Sarin asks him about the level of his concealment skill, and Akira reveals that it is maxed out, ultimately shocking Sarin. Realizing that Akira has potential, he offers to train him but in return, Akira will give him knowledge about his homeworld. With this, the two ultimately become partners. Momentarily, he starts learning about the new world, and while learning, Sarin is also taking Akira through rigorous and physical training. Later on, Sarin calls his vice to fill him in on everything that he has learned from Akira. It turns out that Akira and the first ever hero in the land are both from Japan. Their meeting comes to an end when Akira knocks on the door to come see Sarin. Akira shows up with a cookbook, telling Sarin that he found it in the archives while he was searching for more knowledge on the new world. Apparently, the book contains plans for a coup, and Sarin confesses that he was the one who wrote it and hid it in the cookbook. Sarin already figured out that Akira would find it one day. Sarin then tells Akira that he has plans to remove the king because he is no longer right in the head and would sacrifice anything to see that he achieves his goals. Akira is surprised by this, but at the same time, he can see from the book that Sarin is looking for a peaceful way to remove the king. Akira then mentions that it would actually be easier if he helped terminate the king, since he has no ties to the world. Akira then reveals that he once snuck into the king's chambers and he had the chance to end him, but he couldn't. Sarin assures him that he did the right thing, since the burden of taking a life is one that is heavy. Sarin mentions that he might be an assassin by class, but this doesn't make it easy for him to terminate people. Sarin urges Akira not to stain his sword with blood, since he has plans to return to his own world. Akira then asks Sarin why he is looking out for him, and Sarin mentions that he is the only student who actually used his brain and figured out that something was wrong when they summoned. Akira is blown away when he hears this, and he nervously admits that he has never been praised the way Sarin just did, since he was always in the shadows. Later on, Akira and the other students prepare to enter a dungeon to slay monsters. As they march to the dungeon, Akira notices a girl staring at them in the distance. He walks over to challenge her, and the girl tells him about the sacrifices that were made just to summon the heroes. Akira wants the girl to say more, but the girl tells him to come talk to her when he uncovers the truth himself. Not long after, the heroes start cutting down monsters in the lower level of the dungeon. Sato and his classmates soon run into a group of orcs, and he uses a smoke bomb that was supposed to help them, but it ends up making the orcs more powerful.
Oh, hell no!
The situation becomes more tense, leaving Sato wounded. Akira steps into taking on the monsters, but even his sword breaks. Nonetheless, he doesn't give up, as he collects another sword to take on the monster. Akira notices that Sato is not himself, and he calls on a dispel mage to check on him. In the end, it turns out that Sato has been cursed. While Sato is being attended to, Akira takes on the monster. Realizing that the monster is tough, he tells Sarin to cover him while he tries to use his new skill, shadow magic. Just as he wanted, his shadow magic emerged from the shadow and created a sort of spiked pit that dragged the monster in before conveniently relieving it of its head. After taking out the monster, Akira is ultimately exhausted, and this almost makes his magic go berserk. But Sarin appears behind him to comfort him and be a pivot for him to keep his cool. With Sarin's help, he is able to deactivate his shadow magic. When they return to the surface, Akira thanks Sarin for helping him put his magic back together when it was about to go berserk. Sarin mentions that it is the first he will hear of the shadow magic, and by the looks of it, it looks pretty powerful, but he urges him not to use it unless he really needs to. Akira acknowledges this advice, and Sarin tells him that he brought something for him, which turns out to be a katana. Apparently, it was forged and used by the first hero himself. Akira asks why he is getting the katana in place of the hero, and Sarin mentions that the hero already has his holy sword, and in addition, the hero holding it will raise suspicions. Akira thanks Sarin for the sword and mentions that he is going to take it. He asks Sarin what the sword's name is, and he learns that it is carved next to the hilt. Akira checks out the carving and realizes that it's in Japanese, and it translates to God of the Night Blade. Furthermore, carvings on the blade are wishes from the hero that the sword gets to his successor and helps him in his time of need. Akira is impressed by the first hero's aura and mentions that he would have loved to meet him. Sarin then asks about the hero, and Akira mentions that the spell affecting him is too powerful, making it hard to be dispelled. Sarin tells Akira that he vaguely has an idea who is behind it. That night, Akira heads to the princess's room to find her disrupting Sato's senses with a stone imbued with a curse. Without hesitation, Akira cuts down the stone and places a sword to her neck, asking her why she is doing what she is doing. All she answers with is that she is doing it for the king, and Akira, realizing that she won't budge, decides to leave. Unknown to him, the princess has a stone for each of the heroes, and the moment he leaves, she resumes her evil deeds. Akira then returns to Sarin's chambers to inform him of what he saw, and Sarin reveals that the princess is nothing more than a puppet to the king. He asks Akira if he revealed himself to the princess, and he says yes. Instead of scolding him, he basically tells him not to sleep in the castle for the night because they are going to be on the lookout for him. Akira is surprised that he is not getting scolded, and Sarin mentions that he is still young and liable to make mistakes, but it is his job to help fix his errors. The next morning, Akira wakes up from the tree where he slept, only to see a crowd standing in the courtyard. He strolls to the courtyard, wondering what is happening over there. From the first interaction he has with Sato, he realizes that the curse is broken. Akira then asks him what the issue is, and he mentions that they are all gathered because of the commander. The moment Akira hears this, he pushes all of them aside and rushes to the middle to find Sarin lying in a pool of his blood with a dagger stuck in his chest. Akira falls to his knees in despair, asking the heavens why Sarin was terminated. Just then, one of his classmates mentions that the dagger in the commander's chest is the same one that he used in the dungeon. Akira tries to remind him that his dagger broke in the dungeon, but the rest of the class supports the dude, saying Akira is definitely behind the commander's death. Without thinking twice, Akira easily figures out that his classmates are under the princess's spell. Out of everyone, Sato is the only one trying to be reasonable, but the king soon shows up and orders that the knights terminate Akira. Realizing the danger, he quickly activates the concealment skill to get away from them. He appears behind Jills and subtly calls his name so as not to scare him. Jills then mentions that the commander was sent to the afterlife by the king's personal assassins, the Night Ravens. Jills lets him know that the assassins are also after him, but the commander had already left provisions for him in his chambers. Akira thanks Jills and immediately heads to Sarin's chambers to get the things he left for him. Akira is thankful that Sarin made the provisions beforehand, just as if he already knew that he was going to be eliminated. Akira safely escapes the palace, but the king tells the princess to make sure that they stay on his tail. Before his death, Sarin had told Akira that the best place for him to hide when he is in trouble is the dungeon. However, he warns him to be careful because he is going to have little access to water. And in addition to this, the enhanced monsters can sense him even in a concealed state. Sarin lets him know that he can easily level up in the dungeon and increase his class abilities. Sarin had advised him to head to the labyrinth of Cantinan to try and take out the bosses on every 10th floor because he would get special rewards from this. However, he lets him know that he won't be able to leave a boss's chamber once he enters, and it would be a fight to the death. The first boss room that Akira enters is a monster that looks like a cat, but has a snake for a tail. Akira gets completely overwhelmed in the first few minutes of the battle, and realizes that he is about to be terminated. He activates his shadow skill. The skill takes effect and rips the monster to shreds, but he passes out right after. The shadow system senses his bad state and kicks into action to heal him and prevent him from dying. At the palace, Sato urges his classmates to join him in the hunt for the Demon Lord, but the princess's curse makes them say no. Suddenly, one of the classmates, Asa, offers to follow Sato, and before he knows it, a couple more join Sato. Sato thanks them, and after they get out of the castle, he asks them why they followed him. The dispelling mage mentions that she could sense that they were under a curse, but Asa says he faintly remembers breaking into a room and destroying strange stones. Unknown to them, Asa was under Jill's manipulation spell, which is stronger than the curse, and this was how he was able to free himself and a few others from the princess's curse. Sato and his classmates then begin their journey to hunt down the Demon Lord, while Asa is aiming to connect with Akira again. Apparently, Asa was the only person whom Akira connected with back in their home world. In the dungeon, Akira finally wakes up from his slumber, and to his surprise, he has fully recovered. In addition to this, his stats have gone up a lot better than before. Since he had not the faintest idea of what had happened, all he could do was continue to explore the dungeon. As he proceeds further in the dungeon, he marks his path with the level number to know where he is. When he gets to the 75th level, a slime suddenly pops down above him, but he manages to get out of the way before it hits him. He cuts down the slime, but to his surprise, an unconscious elven woman drops from inside the slime. Akira is blown away by the beauty of the lady. Since he is curious about the lady, he decides to use one of his skills, World Eyes, to get information on her. However, he immediately deactivates it because of the rush of information passing through his head. Suddenly, the elven girl regains consciousness, and with a little information that Akira obtained, he realized that the girl also has the World Eyes skill. The girl passes out again after asking Akira where they are. Later on, the elf wakes up to find a blanket on her, and there is also a fire to keep her warm. The girl is impressed by all the things that Akira has done, and Akira mentions that he is used to it because he was the one caring for his sick mother. After a short conversation about being royalty, the girl decides to go back to sleep, and Akira does the same. The next morning, the girl stays with Akira to explore the dungeon, and soon afterward, they arrive at the boss's chambers, which turn out to be a dragon. After a hard-fought battle, Akira is able to take down the dragon with his wits. The elf is impressed by Akira's strength, but suddenly, the dead dragon is suddenly engulfed in a blinding white light, leaving them utterly shocked. When the light finally dissipates, the dragon suddenly turns into a cat, providing further shock to the two. The elf girl, Amelia, tells Akira that the cat is still alive, but it is weakened, and moreover, it has a shape-shifting ability, which is why it presented itself as a dragon. Amelia reveals that she is able to deduce all of these thanks to her god eyes, but it seems Akira is still struggling to control his. Suddenly, the cat gains some strength, and it speaks, revealing its disappointment at having lost to weaklings like Akira. The cat even throws shades at Akira, and Akira whips out his blade, ready to teach it some manners. However, the cat mentions that it has information from the Demon Lord. The cat tells Akira that the Demon Lord is waiting to see him in the Demon Castle, and this surprises Akira, who asks why the Demon Lord wants to see him. The cat simply replies that it has no idea why the king wants to see him. After the cat is done delivering its message, it tells Akira that he is now free to terminate it, but Akira rejects this. The cat is shocked and asks why Akira won't do it. Akira then reveals that he likes cats, and it would be a waste to terminate such a beautiful cat. In addition to this, the cat can also, unlike the other monsters. However, the problem of getting out of the room remains, since one of them has to die first. Just then, Amelia reveals that there is a loophole, and this is the Master-Servant Pact. It turns out that the ritual requires exceptional magic control, and Amelia believes that Akira should be able to pull it off, even though it is quite dangerous. The cat tells Akira that the risk of failing the ritual is certain death, but Akira is ready to go through with it. Amelia then tells Akira the procedures for the ritual, and the first is to name the cat. Akira then names the cat Knight because of its color. After this, Akira takes its paw and starts pouring magic into it. Akira soon finds himself inside Knight's soul and memory. It appears to be a war zone, and Knight forces Akira to fight or die. Akira refuses to fight, and he continues running around the battlefield, trying to get Knight to drop its guard. However, Knight uses everything in its arsenal to hit Akira, trying to get him away. Akira leaps toward Knight, and Knight raises its paw in weight. It expects Akira to dodge its sharp claws, but Akira just falls into the claws, ultimately impaling himself. Knight is shocked to see this, but Akira's sacrifice manages to get through to Knight, and the two form a successful bond. Akira returns to the normal world, looking all stressed out. A sigil appears on the back of his hand, and when he places his palm on the Knight, the golden sigil appears on its forehead, too. Amelia is happy to see this because it means the pact was successful. Knight finally acknowledges Akira as its master, and since Amelia is his companion, it accords her the same respect, too. Just then, an exit magic circle appears right in the middle of the room, and this is a signal that the dungeon already figured out that Knight is no longer the boss of the room. Even though Akira is eager to move to the next floor, he can't yet, since Knight needs to gather its strength. Amelia then suggests that they use the moment to catch up on each other's stories. Meanwhile, Sato and the other heroes have made it to the town founded by the first hero, and its entire culture is just like regular old Japan. The heroes are blown away by this, and it attracts them to stay, since it feels like home there. Momentarily, the heroes sit down to talk, and Sato mentions the most important thing on their bucket list, which is returning home. However, he thinks the fastest way to do this is to defeat the Demon King. Asa asks him why he thinks this is the solution, and Sato says the king, who summoned them, must also have a way to send them back. He wants them to defeat the Demon King so that they gain favor in the presence of the king and get him to send them back home. Sato mentions his plan to head straight for the Demon Continent once he has money and intel, but Asa protests against this, saying their best bet is to regroup with Akira because he is the strongest of them all. Asa is confident that Akira will come to the town at some point, and this will be their best chance. Sato is good with Asa's plan, but he is skeptical about Akira's cooperation because he has never been one who likes teamwork. To combat this, Sato suggests that they raise their level and stats pretty high, so that Akira won't be able to turn them down by the time he arrives at the town. The plan sounds nice to the rest of the heroes, and they assure Sato that they are all on board. Back in the dungeon, Amelia tells Knight and Akira a story of how she was betrayed and almost terminated by her younger sister. Apparently, she was saved by the giant slime, which swallowed her until Akira unalived the slime. Akira sympathizes with her and suggests that she return home, but Amelia says she has no interest in going home just yet. Akira then assures her that things are eventually going to work out well between her and her sister. Akira reveals that he has a little sister, Yui. Even though they have their differences, it doesn't take away the fact that they love each other. After telling them this, Akira mentions that it is important to him to return home to his mother and sister, but there is something he needs to do before then. He mentions that Sarin was good to him when he arrived in this world, and he taught him everything he knew, but he was taken away from him. While saying this, Akira's malice fills the room, and he promises to avenge his mentor. Amelia is forced to call out his name before he finally realizes that he was already going out of control. He apologizes for his outburst, and the two mention that they are familiar with Sarin because he is a reputable commander. After the intense moment, Akira and Amelia end up rubbing Knight's body as a means of therapy. After they have all gained their strength, Akira suggests that it is time they finally leave the dungeon. Akira asks about the magic circle, and Knight mentions that only a handful of demons still have the knowledge on how to create them. Amelia then cuts in, saying she once heard the circle take the user to where they wish to be. Apparently, even if several people enter the circle, it is still going to react to just one person's will. Amelia then assures Akira that she is going to follow him to where he wants to go. As they are about to step into the teleportation circle, Akira actually thinks of returning to his homeworld, but he quickly trashes the thought. The trio then enters the circle, and by the time they open their eyes, they find themselves close to the holy tree. Amelia is shocked to see this, since they just found themselves in Elven territory, and this is what Akira wants. They haven't used a minute in the forest when they are suddenly attacked. Akira gets Amelia out of the way before charging toward the attacker to subdue him. Surprisingly, Amelia knows the dude as Liam. Liam calls Amelia a traitor who deserves to die. Akira then knocks Liam out before he continues with his blabbering. Amelia is still thanking him when he says there is no need for this because they are already surrounded by Elven warriors. The warriors are led by Amelia's sister, Kilika, and she wears a fierce determination to terminate her sister. Akira is taken aback by the hatred that Kilika has toward her sister, and he finally understands just how difficult the situation is. A flashback scene shows how proficient a fighter Kilika is, and Amelia is always proud to watch her fight. Things are going well until Liam shows up one day, telling Amelia that he wants to annul their engagement. Kilika supported Liam, calling Amelia a child of blight. Before Amelia knows it, Liam and the other guards have turned against her. Remembering this hits Amelia's heart really hard, and she tells Kilika that she would gladly leave to avoid any problem. Kilika disagrees, forcing Akira to step up for her. Akira asks Kilika why she keeps calling Amelia a criminal, and Kilika takes off her sleeve, revealing the blemish there, and she claims that her sister was the one who poisoned her. Kilika walks up to Akira, and before Amelia can warn him to close his eyes, Kilika looks into them, activating her skill called Mesmerize. This practically makes Akira follow whatever Kilika wants, but Amelia is pissed for the first time. She screams at Kilika, telling her to free Akira from her spell. Before things can escalate, Akira speaks up, saying he is not under any spell. This shocks Kilika, since one above her in power cannot fall under her spell. Akira tells Kilika that she would have to clear up her sister's name, but this triggers her, and she orders the soldiers to eliminate Akira. Akira is gearing up for a fight when Amelia's father shows up, preventing a bloodshed. He walks up to Kilika, demanding an explanation from her, but when he sees that she has used her skill on the soldiers, the king promises to punish her for it later. The king then tells Akira to leave since his business is done. Amelia tells the man that Akira is the one who saved her, but the king insists that he has to go because outsiders are not allowed to set foot in their sacred land. Akira then cuts in to defend Amelia. The king is surprised at his audacity, and he reminds the man that he is not his subject, which ultimately means he has no reason to follow his orders. In fact, Akira is ready to fight him if it means breaking Amelia free. The king realizes that Akira is not all bark when he sees Liam trying to pull himself back up after he was knocked out by Akira. Since Akira is stubborn, the king decides to challenge him to a duel, and he makes Kilika his representative. The king announces that the duel will take place before the giant holy tree. On their way to the holy tree, Akira asks Amelia about the child of blight that Kilika called her. Amelia then explains the old rumor that whenever a twin is born, one of them will be different, and this said child will bring calamity to the world. Akira is surprised to hear that Amelia is actually Kilika's twin, and Knight reveals that the superstition about the twins has long been cleared out. Amelia argues that there is the possibility that it is true in her case because she is the only one with different eye and ear colors. Akira then casually says Amelia's hair color and eye color are actually beautiful. Before the duel begins, Amelia warns Akira, telling him that Kilika is very proficient when it comes to swordsmanship. Akira is surprised that Amelia thinks highly of her sister, and she confesses that she was once her joy and pride. Akira then decides to go easy on Kilika and not unsheath his sword. The fight begins, and Akira dances around Amelia, swiftly dodging her sword strikes, while showing her that he can easily knock her out if he wants to. Frustrated, Kilika activates her buff skill that unleashes a propelled wave at Akira. However, this is still not enough to put Akira down. Akira notices the sadness in her eyes and tries talking to her about it. He knocks her down, telling her that Amelia praised her, but Kilika retorts, saying Amelia took everything away from her. Kilika angrily lets loose of her buff skill, forcing Akira to move faster than before. Realizing that the spectators might be in danger, Akira tells Knight to protect Amelia. Kilika screams out, saying Amelia, her divine sister, took everything away from her, because people started looking at her the moment they realized that Amelia was special. Realizing that things are going really badly, Liam gives Amelia the purifying twig, telling her to save Kilika with it. Amelia uses the twig's power to purify everyone under Kilika's spell and make them come to their senses. This only forces Kilika to the edge because she believes that she has truly lost everything. She unleashes every power within her, and Akira figures out that people are going to get hurt if he tries dodging the attack. He immediately activates his shadow magic, telling it to devour Kilika's rogue buff skill before ordering it to then devour him just so he can contain the power. Kilika refuses to back down, and she makes one last charge toward Akira, but he easily knocks her down. Kilika finally calms down, tearing up that everything is over, since her skill has been cancelled. Amelia tells her that she is getting it all wrong because Liam was never under her spell. Just then, the king comes clean, saying he is the cause of everything because he took away Kilika's memories. He restores Kilika's memories, and she remembers that she has always been with Liam. While entering the dungeon one day, she met a strange man, who gave her a suspicious item, claiming it would help her level up. However, this only summoned more monsters, and in an attempt to prevent them from escaping the forest, she faces them alone. In the process, Liam comes rushing over with soldiers, but he gets stabbed by the monsters, ultimately killing him. Realizing that the guilt was killing her, her father had no choice but to make her forget everything. However, Amelia was able to save the day with 2 unique spells, Gravity and Resurrection. Using this, she was able to bring Liam back to life. After this, everyone pulled away from Kilika to avoid spilling the truth to her one day, which is why she felt she was alone. The king then reveals that he intentionally made her engage in the duel, so she could see her strength before revealing the truth to her. Apparently, Liam is immune to her skill because while he was being resurrected, a leaf from the holy tree entered his system. It finally dawns on Kilika that she has been taking everyone's kindness for neglect. She tears up, saying she is a fool, but Amelia comforts her, saying she never stopped believing in her. With this, Amelia and Kilika hug each other tightly, throwing away their beef. Because Akira won the duel, he reminds the king that Amelia is free to choose whatever she wants, and the king keeps his word. The king asks Akira where his next stop is, and he says the Beastfolk continent, where he can secure weapons. Later that day, Amelia makes Akira call her name several times before telling him that she is going to follow him across the world. Meanwhile, Sato and the other heroes are also heading to the Beastfolk continent. When it is time for Akira and Amelia to leave, the king tells them that soldiers will escort them because there have been reports of kidnappings. Amelia tells her father that he has nothing to worry about because Akira is quite strong, but the king insists, saying it is in the nature of a father to worry about his child. In fact, the whole troop is ready to follow them, but Akira politely rejects this. On their way to the port, Akira asks Knight why it didn't act rashly while they were in the presence of the elves, and Knight says it was trying to be on its best behavior. Akira then asks if the Demon Lord is watching, and it says yes. It confesses that it is still linked to the Demon Lord. Akira then tells the cat that it is free to side with the Demon Lord when it is time for them to fight, but Knight retorts, saying it is going to leave the worries till then. However, Knight reminds him that the Demon Lord is still interested in meeting with him, and Amelia believes that the Demon Lord is probably trying to make friends with him because he is quite a unique young man. Suddenly, Akira's Detect Presence skill notices something strange in the area, and he orders them to stop the carriage. They step out of the carriage to see that they have been surrounded by kidnappers, who have their faces covered. The kidnappers notice Amelia's presence, and they celebrate that they have landed a big fish that will make their master, Lord Graham, happy. Before the kidnappers can make a move, Akira activates his skill, and he silently takes them all out. Akira tells the guards to round up the kidnappers, and he asks them if they know about Graham. One of the guards says Graham is an important figure in the Beast continent. Akira then tells the guards to take the kidnappers back to the castle, assuring them that they can make it to the port on their own. Moments later, they board a ship heading to the Beast continent, and Knight informs him that there is a dungeon in the port city where he can level up. Amelia is excited that she and Akira are stuck on a ship together, but Akira crushes whatever fantasy is brewing up in her head when he reveals his interest in the books given to him by the king. Amelia had hopes that things would change, but to her disappointment, they arrived at the city port of with Akira sleeping and reading throughout the entire journey. Just as they step out to land, they are approached by 3 troublesome beastmen, who want to claim Amelia for themselves. Instead of arguing with them, Akira simply gives them another thing to worry about by blinding them with his shadow magic. As they walk through the streets, Amelia notices that the people appear to be scared of Knight. Knight reveals that black cats are feared among the beast people, and they have a good reason for this. When it is time to settle in for the night, Amelia suggests that they use just 1 bed out of the 2 beds available in the room. Knight quickly deciphers the situation, and it excuses himself so that the 2 can have a wonderful time together. Amelia gladly rushes to the bathroom to freshen up, but when she returns, she finds Akira already sleeping. She moves closer to peck him on the cheek, but unknown to her, Akira is still very much awake, but he is pretending to be asleep to avoid her. The next morning, Knight returns to wake the 2. Knight teases Akira, saying he had a good time, and Akira is startled when he turns back to see Amelia sleeping very close to him. Amelia also wakes up, and Knight tells her to get dressed because they are about to have a visitor. Moments later, the visitor enters, and Knight introduces him as Crow, a blacksmith, whom he has just enlisted in his services. Crow calls Knight by a different name, the Nightmare of Amelia, but he didn't say why. Akira then shows Crow his blade, and Crow writes down the list of materials he needs to fix the sword. After he is done writing them, Crow says Akira is pretty inexperienced, and he might not be worthy of the quality type of weapons that he makes. Amelia argues with Crow, but Akira tells her not to, saying Crow is right. Knight then reveals that Crow knows what he is doing because he was a member of the last hero's party. After listing out everything he needs, Crow leaves. Akira is stuck with how he is going to get money to buy the required materials, and Knight tells him that his best bet is the dungeon. He can get the materials in the dungeon and then sell the rest of the materials that he doesn't need. Just then, Amelia tells Akira that she needs to step out to talk to Crow. Akira understands why she needs to speak with the dude, and he tells Knight to follow her. At Crow's forge, Amelia lets Crow know that she is aware that he is strong. Because of this, she wants Crow to teach her how to fight. She tells Crow that she needs to be with Akira, and to do this, she has to be strong. Crow then turns to Knight, calling it the Nightmare of Amelia again, and Knight urges him to stop calling it the name. Amelia is curious about the name, and she asks Knight about it. Knight reveals that it all happened about 100 years ago. Amelia was a thriving city in the Beast continent. Knight was sent to issue a warning to the city leaders for invading the demon realm, but Knight's demonic instinct took over. It wreaked havoc on the city, destroying almost everything, which is why it was given the name, Nightmare of Amelia. This has also made the people on the continent fear black cats. Knight assures Crow that it is not the same demon from before because it now has a new master. Knight tells Crow that he might not believe the fact that it has turned a new leaf, but this is the basic truth. Crow mentions that he never hated Knight in the first place. Apparently, his hatred is directed towards someone else, and this is the noble Graham, who is directly involved in the death of his sister. Crow swore revenge, and when Amelia asks him if he has taken his revenge, he says no, claiming that his sister would not want him to. However, Amelia argues with him, saying he is just a coward hiding behind what his sister would feel or not feel. Shortly afterward, a demonic invasion rocks the city. Amelia and Knight step up to help the innocent civilians who are about to be crushed. Amelia is busy fighting off the monsters when the green-headed dude, who deceived Kilika, shows up. He is behind the invasion, and he is following his master, the Demon Lord's instruction. He introduces himself as Aurum, saying the Demon Lord has ordered him to bring Amelia to him. Before Amelia knows it, she is surrounded, and the next report Akira gets is the fact that Amelia has been kidnapped. Knight tells him that Aurum is taking Amelia to the dungeon. Enraged, Akira tells Knight to steer clear because he needs to wipe out the monsters in one go. Knight heeds his warning and flies away, giving Akira the chance to unleash his shadow magic to consume all of the monsters at once. It finally dawns on Akira that he cares deeply for Amelia, but after taking care of the monsters, he passes out on the spot. If you liked this video and want to see what happens next, comment Sato is the GOAT to confuse the losers who didn't stay till the end.